ask everybody to take their seats, inshallah. We're going to be starting the program now. We're going to go ahead and start the program now. We're very pleased tonight to welcome our community members from the Uighur community. Inshallah, it's going to be a great panel discussion, very informative for us in the NCA community. So please, I ask everyone to take their seats. We're going to be starting with Quranic recitation from one of our own students at the Noor Hills Academy here at NCA. As alhamdulillah is becoming our tradition at NCA is to start the programs with Quranic recitation from one of our own students. So I'm very pleased to introduce us to Asim. Brother Asim, why don't you go ahead and inshallah get started. Jazakallah.
Assalamu alaikum everybody. My name is Asim Shehu. I'm in 6th grade. I'm in 7th grade. I am in Noor Hills Academy, and today I'll be reciting Surah Shura, ayah 20 to 26. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. من كان يريد حرث الآخرة نزد له في حرثه ومن كان يريد حرث الدنيا نؤته منها وما له في الآخرة من نصيب أم لهم شركاء شرعوا لهم من الدين ما لم يأذن به الله ولولا كلمة الفصل لقضي بينهم وإن الظالمين لهم عذاب أليم ترى الظالمين مشفقين مما كسبوا والذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات في روضات الجنات لهم ما يشاءون عند ربهم ذلك هو الفضل الكبير ذلك الذي يبشر الله عباده الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات قل لا أسألكم عليه أجرا إلا المودة في القربى ومن يقترف حسنة نزد له فيها حسنا إن الله غفور شكور أم يقولون افترى على الله كذبا فإن يشاء الله يختم على قلبك ويمحو الله الباطل ويحق الحق بكلماته إنه عليم بذات الصدور وهو الذي يقبل التوبة عن عباده ويعفو عن السيئات ويعلم ما تفعلون ويستجيب الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات ويزيدهم من فضله والكافرون لهم عذاب شديد صدق الله العظيم. Now I will say the translation. Whoever intends to have the harvest of the hereafter, we will increase in his harvest, and whoever intends to have the harvest of the world, we will give him thereof, while in the hereafter he will have no share. Is that they had associated gods who had prescribed for them a religion that is not sanctioned by Allah? Had it not been from a decisive word, the matter would have been decided between them here in this world. And of course, for the wrongdoers, there is a painful punishment in the hereafter. You will see the wrongdoers fearful of what they earned, and it is sure to befall them. As for those who believed and did righteous deeds, they will be in meadows of the gardens. For them there is with their Lord whatever they wish. That is the great bounty. That is the good news Allah gives His servants who believed and did righteous deeds Say, I do not ask for you any fee for it except love and kindship. And whoever performs a good act, we will increase for him goodness therein. Surely Allah is most forgiving, very appreciative. Is it that they say he has forget a lie against Allah? So if Allah wills, he may put a seal on your heart. And Allah blots out falsehood and establishes truth with his words. Surely he is fully aware of what lies in the hearts. And he is one who accepts his repentance from his servants and forgiveness evil deeds and knows whatever you do. And he responds to the prayer of those who believe and do righteous deeds and gives them more out of his grace. As for the disbelievers, for them there is a severe punishment. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. So inshallah, I'm very pleased to welcome our brother Qadir Jan from the Uighur community and local Bay Area community member. Inshallah, he's going to get the program started and also introduce our panelists for today. Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. MashaAllah, big crowd today. So let's get started. So I'm your brother Qadir Ilhar. I'm the president of Uighur Foundation. Uighur Foundation is a proud co-sponsor of this and co-organizer of this program. And the program is a program is event series. We call it China's Genocide Against Uighur Camp Survivors Speaks Out. First of all, on behalf of Uighur Foundation and all Uyghurs, we thank you for attending today's event. We especially thank to our guest, UAE President Alfidar Al-Taber, and the other three camp survivors coming all the way from DC to share their testimony with us. I also want to thank MCA and providing a platform like this so that our local community can hear the voice of the voiceless Uyghur. Before we begin the program, I want to share a little bit about Uighur Foundation. Uighur Foundation is based in the Bay Area. It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization with a primary mission to provide humanitarian support for Uyghurs in need and preserve Uyghur identity and culture. We help financially needed orphans, widows, as well as supporting camp survivors. We have helped close to 1,000 Uyghurs, orphans, widows, and a few camp survivors. We host programs like this, which align our mission to help raise awareness about Uyghur issue and help Uyghurs. So, little house rule and a reminder. And we will leave the Q&A at the end of the testimony. And another thing, just to be a little reminder that because of the nature of this testimony, so some audience or maybe it's not comfortable with some younger audience. So when you do testimony, you can just maybe let the kid out if you not feel comfortable. So yeah. So I think it's yes. Another one is now the next speaker I'm going to invite is Alfidar Al-Daber. Alfidar was born in East Turkestan, currently based in DC. She's a human activist, the president of Uyghur American Association, the daughter of a prominent Uyghur scholar. Without further ado, please help me welcome Alfidar.
Thank you, Brother Qadir Jan. Assalamu alaikum. glad to see a lot of people here. Just want to start. How many of you heard about Uyghurs or Uyghur genocide? Oh, mashallah, a lot of people heard. That's great. So I'm gonna skip quickly then. Um, my name is Elfidar. I was born in Urumqi in East Turkestan. Grew up in Istanbul, Turkey, and came to US in 2000. Last year, I was elected as the president of Uighur American Association. Um, it's a community-based organization, just like you guys. Um, but most of the goal and objectives mission is to promote and preserve Uyghur culture, Uyghur identity, Uyghur language, and our religion. However, because of what's going on in our homeland, recently we kind of shifted our goal to raise awareness events and advocate for Uyghur human rights. Before I started, first I would like to thank you to Muslim Community Organization Association, and also I would like to thank Uyghur Foundation for sponsoring us and other organizers. So what is China's genocide against Uyghurs? Let's look back, see the background. I'm going to talk about who are the Uyghurs and why China is doing these crimes against humanity and the genocide to Uyghur people, and Uyghurs' life before this genocide has started, and a life inside the concentration camps and then outside the concentration camps, the actions taken so far, and what can we do as a Muslim brothers and sisters. So who are Uyghurs? Uyghurs are a Turkic and a Muslim nation native to East Turkestan. It's west part of China. China calls it Xinjiang, which is new territory, but we reject that name. We would like to be called our homeland as East Turkestan. We had more than 2,000 years of history. We had prosperous states, lived independently until we occupied in 1949 by communist China. We were free. However, once we were occupied, our lands and properties were confiscated. We gave up our arms, and basically they took our jobs, they took our livelihood. The demographic of our the population, it was 6% in 1950s, and now it's more than 50% Chinese migration population. Next, why China is committing a genocide against Uyghurs. As you see, we are different than the Han Chinese people. We have different culture, we have different religion, we have different long history, and because of that, China is can't tolerate the diversity. They want to have one homogeneous Han Chinese control, states. That's one of the reasons. And also the CCP was control the region because of the geopolitical and economic ambitions. So our region that connects China to Europe, China to other Asian countries, Eurasia basically. So for their trade and economic projects such as Belt and Road initiatives, it's very important where they located. That's how they sell their products through our lands. That's why they want to have a strong and grip control over Uyghurs. Also, the General Secretary Xi, the President Xi himself, wanted to eliminate Uyghurs. They think that's the solution to control firmly to East Turkestan and all those land. 1990s, when Soviet Russia separated, that's when China realized that this might come to them because we were all independent. They never had total control of these land, and they accelerated this genocide. And President Xi, he wanted to do it in his term. That's why it's speeded up. And as you see, that's a map of where our East Turkestan located, and it's very important for all their economic trades. The oppression Uyghurs were not just recently. It was systematically since we were occupied. So there were like one-child policy that for Chinese and for minorities too. They were systematically controlling the population, taking Uyghurs, transferring them to China, and bringing Chinese migration to China to dilute the population. So forced abortion, forced contraception was going on, restrictions on Uyghur language in schools. Alhamdulillah, when I was in elementary school back home, I had both Chinese and Uyghur language, but it's no longer like that. They had to learn only Chinese now, so they can stay away from their own language. Restriction on Uyghur and Muslim rooted names. For example, in China, Muhammad or Fatma, those religion names are banned. Why? They want to separate us from Islam, they want to separate us from our religion, from our history. Restriction on practice of religion. Any practice of religion is restricted, not just recently, it was before too. We were not able to fast during Ramadan. We were forced to drink alcohol, and like us, but elderly. Just all those religious practices were not allowed for Uyghurs. Last one is the forced relocation of the Uyghur, especially the young girls, to Eastern China. So when young girls goes there to work, what happens is they don't give birth. If they have a kids, they cannot transfer their knowledge, their religion, their culture to their kids. Also, they will decrease the population. So that was systematically taken by the Chinese state itself. Now let's talk about the life inside China, inside the camps. So according to State Department, it's 2 million. According to the Department of Homeland Security and Defense, it's around 3 million Uyghurs are inside the Chinese camps now. Let me give a broad, very simple background knowledge. So what happened is around 2016, we got disconnected from our loved ones. There is a WeChat, we call it, it's a WhatsApp kind of app that we were able to keep in touch with our loved ones, family members, relatives. All of a sudden, they said, we cannot talk to you anymore, and we couldn't communicate anymore. And then we started hearing people are disappearing. First, they took our doctors, there's our scholars, our professors, writers, basically the backbone of our society, they were taken first. After that, they went one by one to, village by village, county by county, and taken all the people. At the beginning, they denied. They said no such a thing going on. But when Canadian researcher showed them satellite image of those camps, and then they said, oh, those are educational, voluntarily educational camps. And then we started to hear about those camps, especially from the camp survivors. They were able to escape because their husbands are Pakistani citizen, Egyptian citizen, and Kazakhstan citizens. So because of that, they were able to escape, and we learned more the truth, about the camps. So political indoctrination, what they go through every day is Chinese propaganda, government's propaganda, and Xi Jinping's code. Torture, when they don't accept what they told them to do, the torture was there, interrogation was there. Sterilization, that's another important thing. Rape, forced labor, organ harvesting, separation of family and children, and then basically separating our identity, our language, our religion, our culture, and also using the people in the camp as a testing zone, like a guinea pig for their medicines and their technological tools, like face recognition, voice recognition, those kind of tools they use camp detainees. So basically, before they enter, they are full body check, they go through DNA check, blood check, x-rays to get all the data collected, and it's saved by the Chinese government. And then they use that. The photo you see on the top, It's on the airport. On the floor, it says the fast lane for organs. So organ harvesting is another thing in China in the camps. Why they invest so much for those expensive machines to take our DNAs, take our X-rays, and all that is because to build a database to have whoever needs any organ, they have the data ready. They can match in 48 hours, for example, and provide you the kidney or heart, whatever you need. So the one on the bottom in the photo you see, that's one of the cells in the concentration camps. As you see, that is their table to eat, their bed to sleep, their also table to study. Like everything is done on there, and that's how small it is. Those buckets are their restrooms. That's how strict and tight, and cameras everywhere. You're watched 24 hours. This is one of the example in 2015, Da Beijing, Dawanqing, it was like a mountain area, and then it turned into, in 2018, to a big, massive concentration camps that can hold 70,000 people. And there's more than 500 camps in East Turkestan. Life outside the camps are no different. They are not in the camp, but they're in open prison basically, because there's cameras everywhere. It's like a Orwellian style police state. Surveillance is always there. Forced sterilization is still going on outside the camp. Forced marriage is another thing. So as you know, China had a one-child policy, and because of that, they had men to women proportion was not balanced basically. So there's so many men, and they need more women to marry them. And the government itself give incentive to Chinese people to go marry Uyghurs. One of the reasons is also find a bride. Other reasons are to change the population, dilute the population. And the Uyghur girls were forced to marry the Chinese country. As you see in the top photo, that girl who will be crying and that's sad on their wedding, right? It's one of your happiest days. However, they're forced to marry to save their parents to be taken to the camps. Also, another policy that China came up with, the homestay, brothers and sisters policy, that Chinese government officials come to your house and stay with you for months and monitor and report. Can you imagine someone coming to your house, stay with you, is totally stranger, another Chinese people who is not Muslim, and watch you if you're praying, watch you if you're saying something against the government, and report all those to your government. That's what Uyghurs had to live. Last one is also the eliminate identity, language, and culture. The birth rate, we talked about sterilization. From 2015 to 2018, a 60% birth rate decrease. And we're talking about big numbers. Compared to Uzbekistan, for example, they're very close to us. Their population in 1950s was around 30 million, but right now is more than 33 million, if you can imagine that. We talked about children being separated from their parents. So when both parents taken to the concentration camps, as a mother of two, I was wondering what's going on to the children. But they too are taken to the camps almost, because it's a state-run orphanages, boarding schools, kindergartens, and stripped away from their culture, their language, their religion, and raised like a CCP subject. They don't know, their names are changed, and that's what's going on. The forced labor is another aspect of it. So forced labor is not just use Uyghurs for cheap labor. It's also a reason to transfer Uyghurs to other regions, and bring other migration Chinese in our region. So when they are away, they can also dilute the Uyghur population. If you don't know, the 80% of China's cotton coming out of our region. Also, solar panels, electronics, auto parts, agricultural products, all those coming out of our region that used forced labor. So we need to watch out. Luckily, US already banned the Uyghur forced labor products, but then companies are using Canada or Europe as a dumping ground to sell their products, and we need to take an action against that. Okay, here you see, I already said that we have such a rich culture, and that's the architecture of Uyghur house, so beautiful, so rich. However, they're all destroyed, new apartment buildings are raised, and excuse is they're so old, they're not safe, we're building new apartments. That's another reason of destroying the culture. Let's talk about CCP, how they treat religion. Any religion, not just Islam, is considered as threat to Chinese government and Chinese Communist Party. They are afraid because when you have a faith, you're stronger. They're afraid when we have beliefs, we can get organized, we can get like a community and be against the Communist Party. That's why they treat Islam as a disease, like a cancer, and they want to get rid of it as possible. Uyghurs' Islamic faith houses the mosques, historical mosques, they were destroyed. Destruction of the mosque, you see they were changed to hotels, bars, restaurants. So over 60% mosques were destroyed recently. Let's talk about now what you can see inside the mosques. As I said, we cannot go to the mosque and pray, and those are the signs on the mosque. Maybe some of you who knows Arabic can read that. First one says azan, which is adhan. The adhan says that we need to praise Communist Party. They changed the wording. They changed the Quran's translation, the wording that works with CCP's goals. They changed the adhan. And the next one is tasbih. Basically, instead of saying Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar, and Subhanallah, you're supposed to say thank to Communist Party, thank to Xi Jinping. That's what they teach us to do, and that's on the mosques. The last image here you see, they're burning Qurans, they're burning the praying rugs. People are afraid to hold those Holy Quran in their house because that's a reason to be taken to the concentration camps. And when Prophet Muhammad Wasallam's photo was driven by, I think, Denmark journal, the whole world stood up. And I was so proud of my Muslim brothers and sisters. But this is happening in China now. They're burning our Qurans, they're burning our rugs, praying, wearing a scarf, headscarf, having a beard is a reason to be taken to the concentration camps. And still the world, especially the Muslim world, is silenced. We need to take to the next level to take a tangible action. Oops. Did we, somebody touched the computer? I have like 2 slides left. Okay, so survivor's guilt and the transnational repressions are the other things we are dealing in the diaspora. Unfortunately, we feel guilty when we don't do anything, but when we do something, that China hold our loved ones as a hostage back home, trying to control our action here. They want us to delete our tweets, they want us to not to talk about what's going on in China. They basically want us to silence us. However, some of us have to speak up, some of us have to share this, what's going on in China, the truth, so we can make a difference. So what actions are taken? So both Trump administration and Biden administration declared this as a genocide. Also, 2 bills passed in the US government, Uyghur Human Rights Policy Act and Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act. And there are more bills at the Congress right now. European countries also could, call it as a genocide and follow the pass similar bills. And UN is also trying to pass a resolution. What can we do? This is the important part. First one is accept the truth and tell others, raise awareness. Word of mouth is so strong. We have that power. We all have that power to tell others and tell them the truth and tell your own government, your country. They should also take side with the truth, not with China. Take side with the reality. Even in Quran, it teaches us to stand up for injustice, stand up against injustice. Our Quran says, be with the state and protect the oppressed, not the oppressor. However, what we see from the Muslim countries are they're being silenced because of their economic reason, political reason, and other reason. So we can make a difference by contacting our government. Support the Uyghur organization, contact your Congress members and advocate for Uyghur bills. Uyghur Human Rights Protection Act and Policy Act is the two bills right now at the Congress. Also press UN and don't buy made in China products because they are tainted with forced labor. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you for listening. We will take the question at the end. Now I would like to invite one of our camp survivors, Zumret Dawood.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Benim ismim Zumret Dawood. Ben Şarkı Türkistan Ürümçi'de doğulup çoğaldım.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Zumret Dawood. I was born and raised in Urumqi in East Turkestan.
Benim yoldaşım Pakistanlık. Biz toy qilg'ili 17 yil oldu. 3 balamiz var.
My husband is Pakistani and we were married 17 years ago. We have 3 kids.
Biz izchil Ürümçi'de hayat kechirib kelgan. Yani 3 farzandimiz bilan Ürümçi'de yaşaydik.
We used to live in Urumqi with our 2 kids.
2016 yıldan başlap vatanimizdeki barliq musulmon şu Uyg'urlarga bir afat bo'lgandeklam, şu islomga, dinga, masalan masjid kirding degandek bana sabablar bilan nurg'un Uyg'urlarni tutib eketdi.
Starting 2016, they used many excuses such as you believe in Islam, you pray, and those reasons were the reasons why most Uyghurs were taken to the concentration camps.
Sakal qo'ygan, namoz o'qigan deb oldi 30 yil keyini 5-6 yilgacha lagerga elib ketildi. Kesildi.
Wearing a beard, wearing a scarf, and those are the reasons, and they were also taken to prisons and concentration camps from 5 years to almost 30 years.
2018 yılı 3. ayının 31. günüsü bana bu Karasaya düştü. Yani 62 günlük lager hayatını baştan geçirdim.
2018 in March, I was taken to the concentration camps and I spent 62 days in the concentration camp.
Sakçılardan menden her xil suallarını sordu, lekin bunun içinde meni 3 farzandlik bo'lganligim uchun sening diningda, islomingda yo'ldashingning uyga kishi bo'ldimi, 3 farzandlik bo'lib, sizlarni shu islomga to'p qo'shish jarayonidanda o'rgandingmi dinni, islomni degandek savollarni sordi.
Because I had 3 kids, that was one of the reasons why I was taken. I was even questioned as, is it because of your religion you have 3 kids? Why did you have 3 kids? That kind of interrogation questions.
Yo'ldashingda namoz o'qishni o'rgandingmi degandek, Qur'on o'qishni o'rgandingmi?
During the questioning, they also asked, do you know how to read Quran? Did you learn how to pray from your husband? I went through answering those questions.
Kimning uyidan Qur'on, namoz chiqsa tutib ketilganligi uchun bizning uyning keyindagi avraz quduqida kishilar qo'rqib namoz, Qur'on, shu namoz kiyimlarini hammasini shu quduqning ichiga tashlab ekan, shu ashara tushib ketgan ko'zim bilib ko'rdim shuni.
Because it was forbidden and banned to pray we were so scared. I've seen with my own eyes that behind our house there was a well, and it was full with praying rugs, praying outfits, long dresses, and Quran.
Meni so'roq qilgan so'roq xonning pastda Qur'on, joy namoz, boshliqqa yo'nalgan ashundaq narsalarni Xitoylar otlab o'tib, meni ashundaq so'roq qilgan.
Even the questioning, the interrogation room that I was questioned, they had to pass through and collected all those Quran and praying rugs.
Hiçbir günahım yok. 62 gün Xitoydan jazolanib yatdim. Mening yo'ldoshim izchil turda Beijingdagi Pakiston konsuli embasiga necha qatim arz qilish orqali mening ayolimning hech qanday gunohi yo'q deb meni sog' salomat qildirib aytishdi.
I was innocent. I did nothing, but I was still taken to the camps and spent 62 days in the concentration camp. With my husband's advocacy and hard work, contacting the embassy in Beijing, I was able to escape and he was able to save me.
62 gün lager hayatını baştan keçirish jarayonida bizga kunda qandaqli bo'lsin, nim dori ekanligini bilmaydi. Kunda dori yegizdi, 15 kunda bir qatim qon oladi, bir oyda bir qatim vaksina deb o'qilardi.
During my 62 days, we were given unknown medicine. We didn't know what those medicines are for, but we had to take it. Also, every 15 days, we were giving blood samples, and also
Bir ay bir qatim vaksina oladi.
and they were also giving us vaccines every month.
Bunun içinde kirip yetayotgan ayollarning jiqligi bir yataqning ichida hatto 30 necha odam yotgan vaqtlarimiz bo'ldi.
We were in a small room, and there were like more than 30 ladies. They were so small and crowded.
17 yoshdan 75 yoshgacha qayrilabadi.
The age of those ladies in my cell were from 17 years old to 70 years old.
Men mashaq mağdıq vaqtimda ma'lamdagi masjidni videoga tortib olgan. Endi u masjidning ichiga kirgil bo'lmaydi. Shunchalik shu atrof masjid chaqal Xitoylar o'sha ichiga cho'ng kichik taratlarni qo'yib ketdi. Sirtdan videoga olgan. Men hozir qo'yib berishga amalsiz bo'lib qoldim mana.
I even had videos of the mosque in my neighborhood that they were destroyed. I had some proofs and videos, but I can't play it right now.
Lagerdan chiqqandan keyin biz u yerda turmaslikni o'yladik. Chunki bolalarimiz diniy islomdan chekinib ketdi ekan. Nima bo'lmasin amal qilib Pokistonga ketay deb bolalarim bilan Pokistonga kelib keldim.
After I came out of the concentration camp, I was so scared. I realized that I cannot live in my hometown anymore. Also, I was afraid of my kids' future. They weren't going to be a true Muslim. They weren't going to keep their language and identity. So I decided to leave China.
Pakistan'a girişten burun meni tug'maslik operatsiyasi qiladi. Bu mening Amerikada tekshirgan doktorxona isboti.
I have a proof in my hand from my doctor that I was forced to sterilize in China before I left China.
Yo'ldoshim shunda yolg'irgan bo'lsam, uni deydi, seni Jungoga kirgizmaymiz, ayolingni chiqartmaymiz deb majburlagan uchun men 36 yoshimda tug'ut yoshidagi bir ayol tug'maslik operatsiyasi qildirishga majbur bo'ldim.
Even we begged the doctors and Chinese Communist Party, even we asked them to leave us alone, they said no, I couldn't escape and I had to sterilize in order to leave the country.
Ameliyatda biz
At the age of 36.
Biz ameliyatda ayol ishkilimiz bolalarni bek yaxshi ko'rardik. Ko'p farzandli bo'lishni orzu qilardik.
In fact, we really love kids. My husband and I, we wanted to have even more kids.
Menga Pokistonga berishga bir oy ruxsat bergan. Bir oygacha kelib bo'lsa deb. Pokistonda menga shunchalik takliflar kelib ketdi. Chunki Pokiston bilan Jungoning do'stligi bek yaqindi.
When I came to Pakistan, I was still threatened because Pakistan and Chinese government was very close. They had very good and close relationship. I received so many threatening messages.
Men 2016 yılı lagerga kirishdan burun olgan Amerika vizam bo'lganligi uchun Pokistonda o'zimni pek bexatar his qilmay Amerikaga qaytib keldim.
Before 2016, I had a 10 years visa to US and on my passport. I was not safe in Pakistan, so I decided to come to US.
Мен қайтып келгенден кейін халқымның, милләтімнің мұшында Қытайның аяқ асты қылышыға чыдап тұра алмай, бүтін дүнияға халқымға буатқан зұлмәтне аңлатыш қарары келіп, бүтін дүнияға аңлаттым.
Once I came to the US, I couldn't stop myself. I decided to share the truth, what I went through to the world. I couldn't stop myself. I said I had to help my oppressed people, my oppressed brothers, sisters in back home.
Kelgen vaqtimda tutib ketilgan masjidning imomlari, hatto haramga berib, haj qilib kelgan hojimlardan tortib, hammasining rasmlarini ilib dunyoga yoydim, buni tutib ketilganlarni.
I had the photos of imams, friends who went to Mecca for Hajj. They were all taken to the concentration camps. I have their photos and names and all of the documents.
Birleşken Devletler Teşkilatı'da bir guvalık yığını bulundu çok. Şu yığında manga vaqtında Xitoy hukumatidan ig'ir taklif topshirib oldim. Ya'ni sen qilayotgan ishingni to'xtat, akam urib ekan. Deydi, dadam saq chiqanda ukam nima ish qilayotgan bo'lsang to'xtat dedi.
When I was on my way to a UN event to speak about what I went through, to give testimonies, my brother called and said, please stop what you're doing. Our dad is in the hand of Chinese police.
Ben to'xtamadim. Ben Xitoy o tehditlardan qo'rqmay Birleşken Devletler Teşkilatı'da guvohlik berdim.
I was not scared of Chinese Communist Party. That's why I went and spoke at the UN event.
Xitoy deganni qildi. Men Birleşken Devletler Teşkilatı'na berib, guvohlik berib, 10-kunsi mening dadam hojim bo'lib kelgan odam dadamni o'ldiribdi.
After I gave a speech at the UN, after around 10 days, my dad died in the hands of Chinese police.
Şununğa qadar men hozirgacha to'xtamay dunyoning hamma yeriga anglatish uchun kuchab kelyapman.
Since then, I decided to be more, decided to speak up more and share more, and I try my best to tell the truth to the world.
Abay Elfedar Hanım deganga o'xshash Xitoylar uy tutgan bo'lmaymiz, yolg'ondan atalmış tutgan bo'lmaymiz deb uylarga Xitoylarni o'rlashtirdi. Sizlar ko'rib qilinglar mening mau kichik qizim.
As we mentioned earlier, the Chinese brothers and sisters like homestay policy. There were stranger Chinese came to my house and lived with me, and those are the photos of them.
To'xtamdan kichik qizimni rasmini chiqaray. Mana sizlar ko'rib qilinglar. Qaysi millatda, qaysi dinda bir 11 yoshli qizlarni bir Xitoy bilan yotqili.
In which country, in which religion, the government forced a little Uighur girl to stay in the same house with a Chinese man?
11 yoshga qizlar deb aşu tuqqan bo'lish degan nimada aşu birga yetish, birga uxlash, birga tamoq yeyish degandek narsalarni rasm tortib yo'llaydi hukumatga 11 yoshli qizlarni qizlar bor. Siz ko'rib qilinglar.
Do you have a daughter? How would you feel if this happened to you? The government systematically doing this to our people, and I have to take photos and send to the government to prove reporting 11 years old.
Mening opam 17 yil oldu o'lib ketgili. Shundan.
My mom passed away 17 years ago.
O'lib ketganda, ya'ni bizga kerak deb Xitoy hukumati Uyg'ur zaratkorliklarini hammasini qo'llab, o'lakni aktinglar dedi. Ya o'zi bir ya'ni ko'rsatdi, qalaymaqa yerga ko'mmaysizlar, faqat bo'lmasa axlatga tashitinglar dedi.
The Chinese policy kept changing all the time. They told us that after my mom passed away 17 years later, that they need that land. They have some property projects, and they told us to take the dead body out of the graveyard because they need the graveyard. We all have to move our loved ones, and especially me and my mom's bones from the graveyard and change it to somewhere else.
Bu mening apamның cesedi. O 18 yıl doğan yagi kümbetten ülep ketkili.
This is my mom's death bone.
Bu cesetlerini ya bir yerge ya berip bizge kümüngla demi deyip, kalaymakan bir yerge kümüşke, yerge kümüşke bulmaydı. Dep 42 gün öyde hemmemiz özümüzün urutkanlarının cesetlerini sakladık. Hükümet aşı bizge yer berip bakacak.
The policy wasn't very organized. They couldn't provide us the land right away, and we had to hold those bodies in our homes around 42 days.
42 gün her kandak ailede ceset battı. Ya inimiz ölüp ketken, ya akımız, ya dadımız, ya anımız.
Most of the houses basically hold their loved ones, brothers or parents, dead body in our homes.
Cesetler bütün çıksa avazlar, bütün yarısından bütün çıkan cesetlerini küçük yerine vermesizlerge dep cesetlerini özü sundurup küçük halatga ep kelip kolumuzga tutkuzup koydu. Mana.
The new provided land was so small, so they said we have to make the dead bodies smaller, so even some bones were broken.
En ahırda mana 40 santimlik mişege kümüse dep hemmanla uyanglardan ilik saklavatkan cesetlerini açıkınla urutkanlarından dep muş cesetlerini muşunda 40 santimlik yerge koyduk.
This is how small 40 centimeter place that they've given us to bury our loved ones at the end.
Dünyadaki başka dindekiler bizge şunçilik yardım kuvvetlidir. Canım Müslüman kıyındaşlar.
We do see help from other nations, people from other religion, but I expect more from you, my brothers, sisters.
Bizmi Müslüman, bizning bundak bu ketişimizge, bundak Xitayning qulida tugab ketishimizga qarab turmagan bo'lsanglar,
We are also Muslims, aren't we? Please don't just listen and do nothing. Please help us.
biringlar, yana biringlarga mushu bo'layotgan zulmni anglatishinglarni umid qilaman.
What I wish is please share this, tell each other, tell them what's going on in our homeland and over.
Mening ismim Zumrat Davud. Yanımı ko'rgan, anglagan, bilgan, peshindan o'tgan ishlarni anglamoqchi bo'lsanglar, Zumrat Davudni to'rdan izlasanglar, mening boshqa guvohlarım chiqadi. Rahmat.
And my name is Zumrat Dawood. You can Google my name and learn more about other details what I went through. Thank you.
Hammalarga rahmat.
Our second testimony will be from Sister Uighur Tursun. Her English is not bad, so she's going to speak in English herself.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Uighur Tursun. I am from East Turkestan. I am Uighur. So I try to explain my overall situation by my broken English. My English is not very good, but I try to explain. I'm born in my homeland because my parents grew up until 10 years old. When I am 10 years old, started by the Chinese government take to China, Guangzhou city, until 20 years old. 10 year I education in the Chinese school, university with Chinese language, with Chinese country. After when I was 20 years old, I applied for a bachelor degree for another country, my first hope only understand what is Islam, because our Muslim, we cannot pray. Even when my mom before passed away tell us something, but I don't know. But in school we cannot have hijab or reading Quran, pray of course, Siyam, like Ramzan, we cannot. So I always dream when I grow up, I want to study Islam. I want to know what is Islam. I hope I can read in Quran. So finally, I applied for a bachelor degree for another country, but I get the letter from the England University. I tried to switch this university any of the Muslim country. Finally, I switched for Egypt, Cairo, in British University. So after 2010, this year, I go to Egypt for study business administration and technology. Then I know my husband in Egypt, he is Egyptian. So we get married, and I know Islam, I study Arabic, I understand all Quran, I have and memorize all Quran, I start hijab, I pray, I feeling like I'm so in Jannah because I finally I understand Islam. But after I get married with my husband and I have pregnant and in 2014 when I was 25-year old, I have a triplet, 2 boy, 1 girl. They are born in Egypt, Cairo, Muslim, Alhamdulillah. Then when my kid is born after 2 months, my triplet, one is named Mohammed, Moise, Alina, and I try to go. My parents call me to come back to China visit us because we have something like that, something party because baby coming. So we apply to go to China. I have holding Chinese passport. My 3 kids Egyptian passport. My husband Egyptian. To apply go to China to visa for my family. They give my 3 kids Chinese visa, but doesn't give my husband visa. So I think whatever he will coming after that. So I take my 3 kids to China the 2015, May 12th. When I just arrived to Chinese airport, because I scared they don't like Muslim, I take off my hijab. I just say Samahni Allah. I forgive me Allah. Then I go to board and they tell me we have some question, please come ask the Chinese police, take me to another room, ask me 3 hours, a lot of question, but I don't know what is this. I don't know anybody in Egypt, any Muslim, Uighur. So this 3 hours, I ask them where's my kids because I am breastfeeding for them. They are so little, only like 2 months old. I need to know where's my kids. They didn't give me, they didn't tell me anything. After 3 hours later, they take my mouth, give my head black hole, give my hand handicap, take me from airport. I just want to scream, speak. I cannot. Nobody know. I don't know what happened for me, what I am wrong, what I am doing wrong. Like after when they take me to an Urumqi prison, they push me, they beating me, hurt me a lot, torture, they broken my nose. And this time I always like ask for myself, but what I do wrong, like I don't know. They just ask me why you go to Egypt. I study pray, I study Quran, I know something Islamic hadith, something. I say I don't know because if I know, I have more problem. I just say I am not Muslim. I don't know. I study because Egyptian people they cover his hair. I do that, but they didn't listen. They didn't believe. After more than 2 months passed, they told me that they will give me permanent time to can go outside. But I am in the blacklist in China. They cannot give me my passport, my ID. I cannot use in cell phone even. I cannot contact with my husband. So when I go outside prison, they give me 2 Chinese police 24-hour policemen with me 24-hour watching me where I'm going. They are with me. So when I go from the prison, I go to directly children's hospital. I see Moaz and Elena, both of them, they're surgery from the neck. I don't know what they are doing for them. But they gave me my son Mohammed is dead body. They see he died. I just need to know why. What happened for him? Because they are so healthy and born in Egypt. They don't have anything problem. Health is very good, alhamdulillah. But after the 5 months passed, what happened for my son? I need to ask from doctor. Nobody answered me. They just me keep my mouth, take the kids, throw anywhere or do whatever you want. I just tell them, my dad or somebody, please, I want to take my son to go to masjid. Give them because he's dead. They are Muslim. We give them pray janazah. They cannot accept. No. I tried to go to them Kabra. They cannot sell for me any land. My heart is broken. I don't know what I'm doing. Finally, we pay some money for people. He gave me his mother Kabra, a small place to put my son. Even from hospital to this Kabra, English, I don't know, Kabra.
Graveyard.
Yes, the 3 police cars with us. They watching us. I try to tell my dad, please pray something. We cannot. It's my heart is broken. This is my first kids. Sorry. Even I cannot pray them like Jannah. Inshallah, he is Jannah, I know. After that time, and Alhamdulillah, Muazzin with me, they take me blacklist. After that time, we go to our home, another city, small city church, and from Urumqi to another city, like 2 hours, 2 days with car. When I go to there, they take me to another camp, and they take from my son, my one son and daughter from me. So from 2015 to until 2018, I spent 13 months in the camp, 7 different areas. Sometimes I am in the hospital because every month I witness 9 or 10 women die with me same camp. We don't know what happened. Even they die, they take them like some animals. They take them outside like that. Even not carry, not holding this woman. So that time I have physical and psychological torture every 1 week, 2 times we have question room. They ask like, okay, your daddy already yesterday died, your mom died, your brother, sister, and even your 2 babies died. So because of you, because you go to Islamic country, so you need to tell us what you do in Islamic country. They know I apply for a student visa, I go to study. I told them I study, I don't know anything. Are you Muslim? Are you study? Are you have pray? Who teach you? You have terrorist mind. Even I don't know what is this terrorist. So after they told me your whole family died, so you don't need the life. So we can kill you anytime, but you can tell us what happened in Egypt, what their government doing or what Muslims doing, but what you study. So after that, I told them, kill me. I don't need a life. Kill me, Ya Allah. Suddenly, I speak. Then they start coming to so hard, beating my ear. They broken my right ear. I lost hearing now. After that, they shave all my hair, put electric in my head, put the charge electric. So that time I say, Ya Allah. So I don't know what happened after that. So after 3 days, I see myself in the hospital. Of course, my 2 hands in the hospital bed, this handicap in my leg. After all this, when I am become better than in the 2017 in October, they take me again the camp and they give me change this prison clothes for orange color. They say they give me sentences, bad sentences. So I cannot have ask from government anything. I just have 3 options to choose, like how I die, with gun or sell give my body for hospital or for medicine. If I die with gun shooting, they must be shoot me 3 down, but everyone shooting, I pay 600 RMB for that before I die. So and they give me a piece of paper, want me writing. When after I die, if I want to speak to for government some information or what for my kids. I didn't do anything. When 2018 January coming, they gave me another paper what we signed as this kid's father name. Because the kids Egyptian passports they take. After 3 years, I didn't see where's my kids. And I say I don't want to accept for kids' name because my kids is Egyptian citizen. They come to China with 6 months visa. If you kill me, whatever you can kill me, but my kids you cannot touch. They must be returned back to Egypt. Then they realize the kids is Egyptian citizen. They contact the Egyptian government. After that, they find after 3 years later find my husband to come to China take me. They take, of course, my husband said to Bill, I have 3 kids. Where's one of them? They said they don't know. I just come to China with 2 kids. They told my husband, if you don't speak anything, I can give you your wife short time. You can take your wife, 2 kids, go out from China. But after 2 months, you must come back to China because my father, mother, sister, and brother from my family, 26 people, always in the camp. If I didn't come back, they will kill all of them. So my husband signed this paper. They take me to from China. When I just came to Egypt airport, the Egyptian government take my husband. They take me go outside with my kids airport. I don't know what I'm doing. After I stay with my husband, some of friend, family, and Egyptian government starts searching me, want me to return back to China. Because already that time, the Egyptian government sent almost more than 370 Uighur students in Azhar University, they sent back to China. Of course, they killed them. So I think, okay, before whatever I die, I need to save my kids, Moaz and Elina. Then I contact American embassy. I don't have money, I don't have passport, I don't have anything. Just I give my kids and save my kids. I want to go back to China. That time and they will try to help me, bring me America with advanced parole visa. I am first camp survivors from 2018. I came to US until now. I am staying with my one daughter and one son in the US. Safety, alhamdulillah. But more than 5 years, I don't have hear about my father, mother, sister, brother, they are alive or not. Of course, when I left before China, they give me sterilized surgery. I cannot have any more baby. Now I am 32 years old. Just take care of my 2 kids and not stop doing everywhere testimony, meeting with my computer everywhere. I have also testimony with Al Jazeera and Al-An, Qanwat Al-Han, and Bahriya, talk about Muslim. But no any Muslim country hear me, believe me, they believe China only. Please, I just tell you, if you are Muslim, if you have your heart, worry Allah. This is dunya, nothing for us. We will go after that face for Allah. They have asked from us everything. So whatever you can do to your help, support all Uyghur. Thank you so much. Sorry. I am excited. Thank you.
Our last testimony is from Sister Tursunay Ziyaoğlu.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Hammanglar. Bugün müşahede kelgen, bizning şu Uyg'urning dardini anglab kelgan. Mush başqa millat bolsunmu biz uchun ko'ngil bo'lib, bizning şu qirg'inchilikni anglab kelgan qarindoshlarning hammasiga rahmat aytaman. Mening ismim Tursunay Ziyoğlu. Vatanimiz Sharqi Turkistonning Kunas noyasidan.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Thank you for coming to listen to Uighur's voice. I really appreciate all of you care about humanity and came here to listen to us.
Men
My name is Tursunay Ziyabudun and I'm from Kunes of East Turkestan.
men Xitayning jaza lagerida 2 qitim yetib chiqdim. Bir qitim 1,5 ay, birinchi qitim, ikkinchi qitim 10 ay. Jami 1 yil.
I was taken to the concentration camps twice. The first time 1.5 months, the second time it was 10.5 months, in total almost a year.
Birinchi qitim kirgan vaqtimda 2017'de mening yo'ldoshim Qozog'istonga to'y qilib, men Qozog'istonga chiqqan. Shu Qozog'istonda 5 yil turib 2017 men qaytib borgandan keyin ashada tutildim Xitoyga saqchilar tarafdan. 2017 4-oyda birinchi qitim kirib ketdi.
First time I was taken to the concentration camps, it was 2017. The reason is because I was married to a Kazakh citizen and I went overseas, stayed in Kazakhstan for about 5 years. And when I returned, that was my crime for being overseas.
Birinchi qitim kirgan vaqtimda u yerda 1000 odam bilan birga kirdim. U chaqda bizga u yerda majbur Xitoylar o'zlarining tomog'ini yeyish majburladi, cho'chqa go'shtlarini, aroqni majbur ichkizdi. Ash narsalardan men oshqoznim qattiq og'rib, uchuqlanib 1,5 ay bo'lgan chaqda u yerda men doktorxonaga majbur yetishga majbur bo'lib oshqozon yallig'i bo'lib doktorxonaga chiqdim.
First time when I was taken, it was very crowded. There were around 1,000 people in the big concentration camps. We didn't have enough food. The food they gave was a Chinese food, and we were forced to eat pork. There were alcohol, and we were forced to eat those things. And because of that, I had stomach disease and stomach problem, and I was taken to the hospital.
Men doktorxona davolanishni misli 2018gacha yosh saqchilarning uy qamoqda tutdim yana 2018 3-oyning 10'i yani 2-chi qitim chaqirib yana kirib ketdi.
I was treated, and so because of the hospital, I was staying away. But 2018, I was taken to the concentration camps again.
U yani shu burunqi bağa lagerimdi, lekin u lager boshqalarcha o'zgarib ketgan, turmaga aylangan odamlar bek chiqdi. U qitim kirgan vaqtimda bekchiq odamlar bilan birga kirdim. Men
Second time when I was taken, the camp that I stayed has changed. It transformed to a totally different, like prison-like camps. It was also so crowded. There were like watchtowers and barbed wires.
Ben bilan 4'ten 5'ten odamlarni bo'lib akirib u kuni ben kirgan kunim aniq esimda 4 avtobus qator turib odamlarni akirib
The day I was taken, there were many buses. Like I remember 4 buses full of people were taken.
İşikten ip manganlar bir qiz bilan meni üçümüzni qator tekshirib saqchilar ichiga akirib Shu chaqda Selimaxon degan bir mo'may, men Boyisha degan bir qiz üçümüzni qator tekshirib ip mangdi. Shu chaqda men ko'z oldimda men birinchi qitim kirganda undaq urmagan, undaq bizni hech qanday to'qtayoqlarla urib qilmaganki men undaq ikkinchi qitim unda bo'lganimni bir ko'rib birinchi qitim hayron qoldim. Ash Selimxon degan mo'mayni ko'z oldimda 70'lar kelib qolgan mo'may. Beshidagi yağlıqni ip cho'rvatdi, ashadlam shu kiyimlarni biraqla yashtirib qanti u ayolning ichidagi bir ko'ynaklar, uzun ko'ynakkan to'q, hamda mo'maylar bizning Uyg'ur musulmon bo'lg'ashqa bular uzun ko'ynak kiyimiz qo'l biz. Hali ko'ynaklar nemish uzun ko'ynak kiyib qalding deb yashtirib o'tgan, nemish unda qilsalar deb aytdim men. Uningga qaramadi saqchilar majbur ashadi chashlarini beshidagi julib boshlab ketdi.
When I was taken for the first time, I wasn't bitten, but second time when I was taken, there were 2 ladies. One of them was around 70 years old. Her name was Selimaxon, and there was another lady, Boyisha. Because the older ladies wearing a headscarf and long dresses, she was undressed and the headscarf was taken. And I was, because it was an old lady, I spoke up. I was like, why are you guys doing this to the old lady? And I was also bitten for speaking up.
Lekin u yerda hech kimga rahim qilmaydigan darajaga bo'lib ketgan. Unuchi meni shundaq kiyimlarni yashtirib, hammani men quloqlarimni artib yurib ashta kirgizdi.
There were no mercies. The same thing was happening to me too. I was also undressed and my clothes were taken, even my earrings were taken.
4 metrlik bir uyning ichiga akirib qolmadi bizni. Ben kirgen neyimin içinde yatakın içinde nurgun ayallar battı. Biz 4-cü uyga kalmadı. Şunun içinde 20'dak ayal bilen bile o aş ayallarını men bilen bile ettirdi.
There were around 20 ladies in my cell, and it was very small and like 4 meter long room, and we had to stay in that crowded room.
Onun içinde o bir ne işin mümkün emas. Küçük bir kızıl çilekni koyup berdi. Aşnan hammamizni o bir ne kılışga mecburladı.
We were not allowed to go even the restrooms. There were a small red bucket in the corner, and that's what we do our restroom needs.
Her günü bizni onun içinde televizyon aldığımız mındaq tamıq çaplap koyatdı. Onunğa sen bunun hiç qanday Xuda bar demanglar. Allah yok bu yerdə. Allah degan yağan, Xi Jinping Xuda degan aştaq narsalarni, onu degan qanun ders etdi. Onunda hiç qanday yerdə bala artıq tug'ishga bo'lmaydi. Qanun bo'yicha birdan ortiq bala tug'sanglar 10 yildan 6 yildan 10 yilgacha sotlansa deb biz ders etdi.
In our room there was a TV, and all the time we had to hear Chinese Communist Party's propaganda, Xi Jinping's quotes, also the anti-religious propaganda such as there is no God, as they portray Xi Jinping like a god. And also there was classes about rules and regulations like a law classes, and they were teaching us that having more kids is unlawful, things like that.
Uyat kirgenlerin hammamiz yenimiz ayollarning hammasining hech qanday gunohi yo'q. Faqat namoz o'qib qo'yganligi uchun, yog'liq hijab kiyib qo'yganligi uchun, balni ortiq tug'ib qo'yganligi uchun, faqat haramga berib haji qilib qo'yganligi uchun kirgan. Faqat uningda qas Uyg'ur bo'lganligi uchun.
Ladies around me were all innocent too. Like all their crimes were to go to Hajj, pray, or wear scarves, and those were the reasons they were taken.
Şu nimede biz o yerdə yani 1,5 aydak tuğandan keyin biz aşını kampanyani açıp başqa uyga yo'tkidi, içinde o bir nipa. Şu gündən başlap biz so'roq sual deb tanqa deb chiqishga boshladi. Har kuni qizlarni olib chiqib ketdi, ayollarni urib.
We were transferred to another room in the same building after a month and a half. And once we moved to the new room, we were taken for interrogation, for questioning almost every day.
Her bir ayollar qaytadan so'roqqa yenib kirganda 2 kun, 3 kun yo'qolib ketadi, yo 1 kun kecha yo'q bo'ladi. Ba'zilari kelmaydi, ba'zilari kelgan chog'da ig'ir holatda tayoq yeb keladi, qansirab o'lim holati kelib o'lib ketadi, ashtaq holati keladi, ba'zi kelib sarang bo'lib qoladi. Men u chog'da hech kim nima uchun urayotganimdan, nima bo'layotganimni bilmaydim, faqat har kuni har xil akit boradi ashtaq ayollarni.
Some ladies were taken at night, some during the day, and they were being tortured, questioned, interrogated. I didn't know what's going on. Some comes back with heavy injured body, some comes back and don't talk at all, some disappear, never comes back.
Ben şu okşaş şu sorak çıkandan keyin berip tayak yedim. Yerdə men 3 gün aş koyup ondan keyin tamak bergen keyin men yo'lduşum Qozog'istonga ayvap ketgan uchun men yo'lduşum Qozoq bo'lganligi uchun Qozoq saqchilar so'roq qilgan keyin men Qozog'cha javob yandodim. Ularga men qarshilik qildim, qo'limni qo'yib tamak yegan, tamaklarni yemedim. Men uchun Qozoqni tutmaysa, shu chog'da meni qattiq urdi. Lekin Xitoy saqchi urdi, meni kaynimdan kelib urdi. Qo'saqlarimga dastlab urdi.
One of the interrogation, there was a Kazakh police who was questioning me, and I spoke back and said, why, the reason why I'm here is because my husband was Kazakh, and that's why I went overseas. Why don't you guys arrest those Kazakhs and ask them? And those kind of like I talked back to them, and then they got very mad and they start beating me. They even kicked my stomach and my left side of my face.
Aş altı bal tuqqan bir ayol batdı. Aş ko'z oldimda ayolni aş nimga chiqib ketgan, kirgandikin o ayolni ig'ir darajada qattiq urayotgan, butun badanlarini aş zaxmlanayotgan o'z ko'zim bilan ko'rdim. Men bilan men so'roq ib chiqdi bir qizni, bular aş kechisi so'roq qilib ib chiqib ketadi ayollarning hammasini. 20 yoshli qizdi, aş qizni ko'z oldimda xo'rlab Xitoylar.
There was one lady who is from like a village, the rural side, who had 6 kids, and that lady was beaten so hard and bleeding heavily and injured. Some other days, they take some ladies out in the middle of the nights, and one day, I and one of the girl around 26 years old, we were taken to the interrogation at night.
Iya da her xil künde özgürüş bolup turadi. Bir haftada bir 15 gün bir. Nimeni? Her günü keşke saat 10'dan keyin başlanat diye sorak sual açık yedigan, taң adaplan kızаны aç, öz bilgin talap açık yedigan aşta iş payda boldu. Bir günü bu nöbet bizge mi keldi? Mening yenimde bir 21 yaşlı kız bilan birga men ilib chiqdi. O kızım közüm körüp turdi.
When we were taken at night,
Bayram mecbur o kızın basımcılık sonunu öz gözü bilen kördüm.
when we were
Çok
taken,
asbaplarla kendi hatta.
when we were taken,
Mahmum açtı. Okşaşlı.
when we were taken to another night, I thought they just tortured or interrogate, but they were using electrical buttons, hitting us in every part of our body, sexually abuses, and even rape we had to go through.
Ya da her vaqt işte her xil özgürlükler bolup turadi. Ba'zida yuqoridan buyruq chiqdi deb kelib bir kuni bir ayol onun içinde bilmeymiz, qanday bo'lganini bilmaymiz. Eg'ir oyoqlab qolgandi. Darsxonada 40 tak ayol var dars o'tib atganda o'tirg'a chiqib so'roq qildi. Sen nima uchun qo'sog'ingga kelib qolding? Nima bo'ldi? Nima ish buni darishkizdi? Chunki ya to'xtamay har vaqt bizga darishkizib qilganda shunda to'sim yana qo'sog'imni kelib qilib, nima degansizlar Uyg'urlarning bu darishkiz vasaqni qo'sog'ini qattiq tilablam açık kelib balsin tushib keldi. Kelgandan bütün hammasini to'g'mas operatsiyasi qilib, hatto to'y qilmagan qizlar bor uyda bir qiz chiqarib chiqib ketdi. Men tek to'y qilmadim. Men bunda qilsam men keyin bal tug'amsam qanday qilaman onun qarmidi.
Even we witnessed that even though they sterilized us, give us medicine, there was one lady who stayed there for a while, got pregnant in there. And she was also questioned how come this happened and punished for that. After that, we were all taken and forcibly sterilized as well. There was one girl who was very young and never married, and she was begging and imploring to basically pass her, but unfortunately the Chinese government didn't listen and even sterilized her.
Hatta ayollarning chechini kesib etdi uniki yerdan. Hatta bir mo'may ismi kelib qoldi hozir deyinki bir Maryam ana degan bir anamiz bordi, aramga berib kelgan. Bir kuni mush tizini tutib mushta o'tirib, ishki tizini tutib mushta o'tirib qolib uxmay o'tirgan o'xshaydi. Shuning uchun ash mo'may qattiq taza qattiq urib ilib qer mo'may deganda shunda qattiq urib sen tizini tutib bizga bildirmay namoz o'qitsa deb.
There was one old lady who was just holding her knees and sitting, but Chinese police thought she was praying without openly showing, and she was punished very harshly as well.
Mening yo'ldoshim Qozog'istonda bo'lganlik uchun Qozog'istondan guvohlik berdi menga. Mening ayolimni qo'ytinglar deb, shu men 2018 oxiri 12 ayning 25-i meni qo'yib etish buyrug'i keldi, tuyuqsiz. Men hayron qoldim. Meni 2 yillik sotlab etgan, kesib etganligimga qanday olib chiqarsizlar deb. Seni o'yin Qozog'istondami deb so'radi. Ha dedim, shuning bilan meni chiqardi.
I wasn't aware that my husband has been advocating for me for my release. December 25th, 2018, all of a sudden they asked me if my husband is from Kazakhstan and if I have a house in Kazakhstan, and I said yes, and they made me sign some papers and told me that they can release me.
Qozog'istonga kelgandim, ular to'xtamay tahdid qildi. Mening kaynimdan qaytirib akimiz deb Qozog'iston hukumatiga qism qildi. Ularni qaytirib etimiz dedi. Hatto Qozog'istonda biz turayotgan uylar o't qo'yib etdi majbur. Ko'ydirib o'ldirish uchun. Lekin Amerika hukumati, Amerika konsullari aralashib, ular qo'g'dab men Amerikaga keldim.
When I was in Kazakhstan, I was not safe. I was threatened all the time. The police were constantly, looking for us, and they even burn my house. So I was very scared and contacted U.S. government, and that's how I got to escape and came to the U.S.
Hammalarning bu yerga kelganlarga rahmat. Mening aytganim bu yerga kelgan qarindoshlarga hammasiga rahmat aytaman. Musulmon qarindoshlarim. Bütün dünya bizning hozir bo'layotgan bu qirg'inchiligimizni anglab bilib turibdi. Sizlarning buni tafsili mana kelgan kampirdan chiqqan qizlarning hayoti YouTube'da bor. Mening tafsili anglag'ingiz ashunda bor. Bizning ishimizga ko'ngil bo'lib anglab beqib, bütün o'zinglarning davlatlarga cho'qim bizning ishimizni deyishinglarni, Xitoyning qanchalik bizni qirg'inchilik qilayotganini dunyoga deyishinglarni bildirishinglarni umid qilaman. Faqat anglab qo'ymayman shuni. Çoxum ko'ngil bo'lib bizning ishimizga yordam berishinglarni, hatto davlatinglarga shuni talab qilishinglarni umid qilaman. Bizga musulmon davlatlar faqat yordam qilmayapti, rost gapsan. Biz qarindoshlar emasmi? Ya Allohga borganda nima deb javob bersizlar, shuni men bilmayman. Alloh deb har vaqt namoz o'qiydi musulmon davlatlar, haramga bor deydi, haramga borib berib ashad tutilib turmada o'lib ketdi bizning qarindoshlarimiz. Sizlar shu chaq ayak berib nima deb javob berasizlar deb o'ylayman men.
Thank you so much for coming today. Thank you so much for listening to my stories. And if you go on YouTube, there are many other testimonies that you can hear. I really appreciate your listening, that you care. Unfortunately, being honest, most Muslim countries are staying silent. What will we tell to God when we are in the other world, knowing that your Muslim brothers and sisters oppressed by the communist China and there's genocide going on? We have to help. We have to hold Chinese government accountable, and we need to do something, take tangible actions. Otherwise, we will be guilty. Knowing what's going on and not doing anything is also guilty in our religion.
Hatta bir narsa esim kelib qoldi hozir lagerning ichida Qur'on Karim deb butun dunyo masalan Allah'ın tushgan Qur'on Karim, Qur'on kitoblarini hatta biz bunda yak qo'yishdan qo'rqimiz, ashta qilayotganda mana maladatni kuydagan, hatta u birni aytirib majbur mushunga tartani yetsa dedi ashna. Ashna mana emas qozoq lager saytimiz bor, yana lager saytimizmi ashning guvohlik ashlarni mashta qilib bizning lagerning ishimi shuni qilgan. Mana mushunchalik darajada qo'llayapti bizning dilimizni. Shunga yana Xitoyni qarab turayotgan musulmon davlatlarga men hayron. Sizlarga rahmat hammalar.
They even use our holy book and leave it in our restrooms to basically disgrace, and the way they treat Islam is unacceptable, and we need to do something about this. There's other testimonies about this too. Thank you so much. Now we will take questions, so I would like to invite the speakers to the stage.
And I know it's a very heavy and a very sad testimony, but we just pray Allah that doesn't make nobody, no human being goes through what we were through. So yeah, anyone have any questions or this is yeah.
What done? Mikrofonda so'zdan balans. Ha? Bayağı so'zlar.
Why does China kill Muslim people?
Maşallah.
Because China, they worry cannot control Muslim people. They don't like Muslims. They don't have a religion. Chinese doesn't have any religion. And they don't like any Muslim. Because that they want to control our religion. If we don't listen China, they will kill us.
Also, I just wanted to add, because of our faith, our religion, we survived. We didn't get assimilated because we believe in God, we believe in Allah. We know even if we have oppressed now in other world, we might be, basically awarded. So that's one reason. Another reason is when we Muslims united, we are very strong, and China is afraid of that.
How can we directly help those who have established living over here. Is there somewhere we can directly donate that would like help people kind of establish their living over here?
Thank you so much. Yes, you can donate to camp survivors. I think through Uighur Foundation, you can donate as well. Support Uighur organization, not just your money. Donate your time, donate your pray. When you pray, pray for Uyghurs. All those are considered donation. But if you want to donate financially, I was told even today there is a box. Is that correct?
Yes, we have a people on the back,
Okay, in the back, there is a box also if you want to help.
Yeah, and also I want to add a few things that, because right now, no money, financial money can go to help anyone Uyghur, so we have tried it. And as of lately, we received our money 10 years ago being jailed. We just sent $500 to help one lady, but that money being taken away, and that's nothing, she's in jail, so we can't, no any money can go there. But because of this recent crackdown and a lot of family being forced to call back to hometown, and they're in prisons, and a lot of children became an orphan, and a lot of ladies became widow, mostly in Turkey. So that's why we have Uyghur Foundation closely working with the Uyghurs around the world to help them where they need. So yeah, I think that if you want to help, then we have a table on the back. Exactly. Next question.
Sual soruşalan yok.
Aytlan gap.
So'rabdi,
عربي.
gap so'rabdi birsi.
أنا بعرف أتكلم كسر مصري. ينفع أرد بعد بتكلم عربي.
Birsi gap so'rabdi.
Thank you so much for your presentation testimonies. I really appreciate it. I'm just wondering which region of China the camps exist right now. And I'm also a Bosnian genocide survivor, so my heart goes to you. And the other thing is, how many do you know, is there a number? How many camps is there and how many people are in the camps? Thank you so much.
Ne dedi?
Qanchalik kamp bor deydi.
Men sizinle bakayım.
To'xtaman dedi. Jungo hükümeti tezlikte bu kamplarni yasab chiqdi. Ya'ni o'zlari ishlatmaydigan bino. Bunun içinde mektep, yesli, torso, doktorxona, banka degandek hukumatning ishlatilmaydigan binolarni tezlikda lagerga o'zgartdi. Shuning ichida shu 540 birisidan ichida odatdagi birisining ichida 500 dan 5000 gacha odam patadigan lagerlarni barpo qildi.
So Chinese government used any old buildings that they don't use, like hospitals, old schools, and business buildings, and turned them into the camps. And they also built new camps. So as far as we know, there are more than 550 camps. As I had shown one of the camps satellite image, that camp in Dawanching can hold 70,000 people. So you imagine how many are. According to State Department, 2 millions, and Homeland Security and Defense Department, around 3 million Uyghurs are in the concentration camps. However, we believe the numbers are much higher than that.
So I will just say that I'm a very good friend of Kalejan and Qasim and all those guys. And the Uyghur Foundation, I can talk about that. From my company, I was donating, and even if you have a company matching, you can talk to your company, you can select the Uyghur Foundation from there, and they will match whatever you are donating 1-to-1 to the foundation. And I have donated that to them, and they really do. They support.
Baksana aşağıda. İşte
Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah khair. It was an awesome, mashallah, presentation. I'm originally from Syria. We have very similar stories in our government. So the regime is really torturing us because we are practicing Islam, Can you imagine that we are in a Muslim country, we have the same stories, but nobody know about it since Hafiz Assad was there and still till now. But what you mentioned now is all over. It's more because it's maybe with million people. So we have to work now, as you said, we are Muslim, we have to support each other, we have to think about the new ways. But I'm really wondering how America is supporting and against at the same time. It's really confusing. And I would like to know if you can apply for your husband, because he's Egyptian, from here to support him, because now he is like, you're in America, you could have the green card, so you can apply for him. No way.
They just bring me here. I don't have any document until now. I'm 5 years. Just I have work permit, social security. That's it. I try to apply him coming. He don't have any document.
We
So-
just have to complete praying and support each other, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And maybe this presentation will be the start to go over, inshallah, in the future. Inshallah, all of us will support.
For your questions, why America support us, it's because there are so many of us here that has loved ones, family members are in the camps. Some of us confidential in a way, some of us openly. We literally knocked every single Congress member's door and told our stories. That's how we were able to pass 2 bills. We wrote thousands of letters. We made thousands of calls. We visited and literally slept at the Capitol Hill every day. We visit and told them, show the photos, show them the evidences, ask for hearings. That's how we were able to advocate and tell them, because truth is on our side. And we told them what's going on. They see the proof, they see the evidence, and they vote for those bills to pass, and that's how they get to know a little more. And also the intelligence, they were also able to get more data. Recently, like there's a Xinjiang police files that, release more than 10,000 people's names in just one county that were in the camp. They had photos, how they were, and even Xi Jinping himself published the white papers, and those, his own word says, eradicate Uyghurs, absolutely no mercy. So there's enough evidence. Not just America, European countries also support. 9 other countries' parliaments passed and called it a genocide and crimes against humanity. So most recent voting in UN, a resolution was about to introduce to hold China accountable, and out of in the voting, basically 17 to 19 votes we lost, unfortunately. So we weren't able to take China and hold accountable last year's, but we are going to keep fighting for it. We're going to try to do something more tangible and higher level. Thank you.
Walaikum salam.
First of all, thank you for your courage. Nothing more for the suffering that you went through. Are there any sanctions that are being put in place by the government against the individuals that are perpetrating these acts? That is, all the way from the highest to the lowest prison officials that are doing this. For example, the bills that are being passed, do they put sanctions on these individuals so that they think twice about their action? If not, are there any action, any effort towards this?
To your question, yes, the U.S. government announced multiple sanctions to who is part of this genocide. So Chen Chuanghua, who handled the Xinjiang, that region's head, was sanctioned, and many other names. So every time when U.S. sanctions some Chinese government cadre or officials, China also sanctions U.S. government senators or whoever supporting the Uyghur cause. So that has been. Besides that, there are visa restrictions to those who have hands in the Uighur genocide. There are also import-export restrictions, business restrictions. Some of the companies who was linked to forced labor or linked to genocide, they were also banned to enter their products to U.S.
So, due to this, time constraints, so we're gonna take the last question. Okay. So,
Assalamualaikum, and Jazakallah khair for doing this, and may God bless you and all of your family members back in the East Turkestan, and may Allah bring peace to all of the Muslims who are suffering in the world, unfortunately. Just quickly, two questions. I was wondering, one is, are you still receiving any sort of like threats from China currently? Still, if you can maybe talk about that even after you escape from the camps. Still, how China is threatening your safety. And also, I was just curious and thinking, has there been any efforts to maybe document this and maybe turn it into like, I don't know, like a movie or something like something that would raise awareness, like, I don't know, like just throwing out ideas like a Netflix series or something that could really bring this story to the masses so that people can understand. I mean, this is not just, it's just, first and foremost, it's a Muslim issue for all of us, but it's like a human issue. It's like just no human being should ever go through this at all, period. I think anybody who has some sort of consciousness would be able to recognize that. I feel like, bringing the story to everyone is really important. I'm just curious if there's any effort or plans to do that as well. Thank you.
I'm going to translate it. So, ikki savol so'raydi. Birinchisi, hozirmi sizlarning ishlayotgan taktik ko'rsatib sizlarga Xitoy tarafidan. Ikkinchisi, shu bo'layotgan ishlarni ifodalaydigan bir kino yoki bir narsa ishlandimi, shunga tirishganlarmi deydi.
Rahmat. Bu hozirmi tehditlar kelib turdi. Chunki Xitoyninki konsullaridan ancha-muncha telefonlar keldi. Hatto men tehdit telefonlarini Chinadanmi, o'dil kelgan telefonni, bolalaring bilan o'tgan kuningni qadrla, hech qanday ishga aralashma. Biz sening atrofingda degan fikr keldi.
Yes, of course, because we are speaking about, we do receive those threatening messages from the Chinese embassies, phone calls, and Chinese police from back home, and even some messages says, watch out, you'll be watching your kids. If you want to spend quality time with your kids, you need to keep silence. Those kind of messages we receive.
Amerika hökuməti yaqında bir meniki qısqagana hayatımı 13 minutqa jamlab bir karton film ishlab chiqdi. Bu karton film mening hayotimni kichiklatgan 13 minut. 13 minutning ichida men kampaga kirgan, chiqqan, Amerikaga kelgan butun hayotim so'zlangan. Bu 2022-yillik Pulitzer mukofotiga erishdi. Men Xitoy lagerdan qanday chiqdim?
For your second question, in the US, there was one cartoon documentary movie made about my life, how I escaped from the Chinese concentration camp. It's only 13 minutes that summarize my life, how I was taken and what I've been through and how I escaped. That documentary was awarded with Pulitzer award in the US.
Hozir boshqa bir kino festivaliga qatnashyapti.
It's also in the movie festivals.
Men de bakayım.
About me, I came to US 2018. From 2018 to until 2020, I moved 7 places in Virginia, 7 different homes, because in everyone, if you rent home in the US, must be have 1 year is lease agreement. It's if you broken contract, you have a lot of problem. But I moved to 7 different places because Chinese government, when I go to testimony in Congress with a lot of senator, after go out from testimony, I go to over my kids with me that time. the Chinese government gave somebody, they want to try to kill me, but they broke into my Uber car, have accident, and they just run away. After 3 months, FBI already got these people because I take picture his car. And after also because I moved 7 places because in midnight somebody broke in my window, and when I go out, there's no one. When I go mall, the people take picture for me. It's not safety after that FBI want me move house. And they insert people, even FBI put my every room outside camera in the door, we see only the hand, they cover the face, you cannot see, because they understand, we don't know how they understand have camera here. They insert paper, they writing, we know everywhere you're going, which school your kid is going, what food you gonna buy. So be careful what you're doing, stop your action. So the FBI I provide, give the FBI already, they are checking, they cannot find also. But after 2018, I moved another safety place. Now I feeling I am safety because of course I cannot have received phone call from my mother and my husband. But I have a lot of movie. Last year I have Broken Promises movie, and Washington DC big cinema they start sale ticket. When you go to the movie, about maybe 20 people inside. When we buy the ticket in online showing is more than 100, 500 tickets already sale, but this Chinese government they do that problem, internet, and I have 3 different book. And in Germany, there's somebody buy 75,000 book, they fire. The German government finds that. They want stop the people don't reading. And also I have my another book in the published February 16, but we don't know what happened again. But we are facing almost have any time maybe happen something, but we are not hearing because we already lost everything. Thank you.
Taktik üzerinden bu yerde üzerinden bir vasıta kullanmadı. Lekin mening inimni turmga kirib tuqqanlarim orqali qilgan
First I said I wasn't threatened here directly, but they took my brothers, they took my family to the concentration camps and make them speak to me and told me not to speak up and stop. So my personal experience, I've been human rights activist for so long, I never faced any threat until I became a president. I guess now, according to them, I need to be watched. So some of the online webinars that I was speaking, they sign up with fake names and then posted my home address and say we're watching you. So since I got that, I asked my husband to put cameras all around my house so I feel safer now. Also, someone called me from another state and said Chinese police called that person to move closer to me and report what I'm doing. So I got that message and I'm like being paranoid, who's that person, you know? They try to do this to scare us, to stop us so, you know, we don't continue in our work. I have many friends, their parents are in the camps, their siblings are in the camps, but they're afraid of that threats and they're afraid of that basically holding their family member as a hostage and control their action here in the US, and they're afraid to even ask simple question, where is my family? They can't ask that questions. When we have protests, they can come out. They're like, what if my parents are taken to the camps? Or if they're in the camps, what if they got killed? And that's why it's very hard. There's so many of us that are impacted with this genocide, but only few people are brave enough to speak about it. Thank you.
Енді кетінде тоқай мен қызметтің тоғырлы
So you mentioned that one of the ways we can help is don't buy made in China products, but practically speaking, everything that we use is made in China. So do you have maybe any at least big ones that we should avoid, or we can raise awareness against at least the big ones, the major ones that we can avoid?
Yes, so many brands. When you look at it, so many brands are linked to Uighur forced labor, but if it's not made in China, buy made in US, we live in this country, right? Yes, it's a little slightly expensive, but they last longer, right? then over the time you still end up saving money. So or buy products from your country. You will be contributing your country's economy. So that's what we suggest. For the brands, Zara is one brand in textile, if you can stay away because it's open. Hugo Boss is another brand that they declared that they will continue to buy the cotton from Chinese companies. So for those automobile business, Volkswagen, is one of the car company, also linked to Uighur forced labor. And actually many other products, car, auto parts, are linked to Uighur forced labor. But we're in the US, so US government, CBP, they're trying their best to protect us from the forced labor products. So I think we're a little lucky, but we should continue this advocacy in other countries not to be a dumping ground.
Bunun içinde Skechers var. Skechers mı? Şu Skechers, Nike, Adidas, bulan Apple ha. Müşla hemmisini aşılagırdakiler işlep çıkardı. Hatta pomidor ketchup mu? Ketchup mu? Made in China ketchup mu? Bizim lagerdan içindeki mecbur emgekten keken.
All those products that she mentioned also linked to Uyghur forced labor, unfortunately. The people who are taken to the concentration camps, they had to work long hours for those products.
Ben de videosunu tatip var. Muşlarını işlep çıkarıvatkan.
We even have videos and proofs of them working on those.
Tarıgıcıga qımıdıq, ispat bilen söz atımız.
We all give enough evidence and proofs that you can ask further questions.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much. This is very important. What we'll do, inshallah, is if anybody has any further questions, I encourage everyone to visit the Uighur Foundation table in the back. If anybody wants, you can have individual time. Just because we're going to have to start wrapping up the room, inshallah, but please appreciate you all visiting the table and have any further conversation with the sisters. It's been a very important talk. Inshallah, we'll of course continue to hear from the Uighur community, and we encourage everybody to follow the news and take some of the actions that our panelists have mentioned. Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.